Get that damn camera out of my face. Oh wait, sorry. I asked you to be here. And I'm paying you too. My bad. Doing some chest and back today. One of my favorite combos. Super setting. I'm trying to mess around a little bit with just some old ideas and old principles that I used to do, and so I'm doing a little bit more eccentric work, which I only have like 2 or 3 now. I lift something nearly every day. Sandbags, dumbbells, kettlebells, a barbell. I'll do some sort of lift every day, some sort of exercise every day. Sled pull, sled drag. But trying to keep my workouts a little bit more condensed, so I'm pairing things like chest and back, or shoulders, biceps, triceps. Legs, I have not had the opportunity to train recently because my butt and hamstring is acting up a little bit, so the only training for that so far in the last few weeks has been some sled work. We'll cruise right back over to the bench. One of the big issues with a bench press is a lot of times people don't know how to use their whole body when they bench press. And it's one of the reasons why I kept the bench press in as an exercise, is because it's not just an upper body movement, it's an entire body movement, and a really good one. But for some people it hurts their shoulder and things like that, and they don't really know how to use their whole body. And when you use your whole body, you'll be less likely to hurt your shoulder. So I like to take the elbows, bring them in kind of close to the side. It doesn't have to be over exaggerated. My hand doesn't need to be way out here with my elbow here. We want to actually stack the joints, the wrist, the elbow, the barbell. And you also want to learn how to use your lats, and you want to almost simulate pulling the weight into you as you're bringing the weight down. You want to really try to pull the weight into you. And then when it's time to push, you got to blow these lats out. You got to push them down. You're pushing your shoulders down away from you, and your arms kind of forward. And as you get bigger over the years, as you get more lats going and you work your back, you'll have more to push off of, and you'll have a tricep to push off of, and you'll have a lat to push off of. It takes time to get there. If you don't have that at the moment, you'll have to just try to do your best to still squeeze those muscles, because they're still working, even though you might not get cushion off of them. Throwing on these raw sleeves right here. These are the sleeves that you saw The Rock wear, by the way. Hike these guys on, protect yourself before you wreck yourself. A lot of people don't really know much about elbow sleeves and knee sleeves, but they can be great. My elbows don't hurt at all, but I want to keep it that way. Keep myself healthy. And while I'm doing this, mixing in, heavy bench presses and different things, along with running, I want to protect myself before I wreck myself. And I want to also have a little more cushion for the pushing, and that's exactly what the sleeves will do. It gives you almost like a little bit of a kinesthetic awareness, as well as just kind of clamping down on the area, giving you some compression. A compressed muscle will be a stronger muscle. On top of the compression, you're also getting the value of the warmth. And when I was powerlifting years ago, what I would do is I would put like an icy hot type of thing on my elbow or on my knee, and then I would throw the sleeves on over top, and that felt great to get through the workouts. Obviously, there's still things you want to address. If you have continued pain in your elbows and your knees, just throwing on elbow sleeves and knee sleeves is not the thing that you always want to have to rely on. But it's a great way to allow you to press more weight, to push more weight. You've seen bodybuilders, power lifters, and many other people over the years utilize those techniques. Bodybuilders especially, think of your favorite bodybuilder, and then think about them on their heaviest leg press, their heaviest hack squat. You think of Ronnie Coleman doing his heaviest squats. He was wearing a squat suit and was actually wearing knee wraps. See guys like Chris Bumstead, they'll wrap their knees, to be able to handle more weight. So the whole idea sometimes behind strength training and what we're trying to do when we're trying to get stronger or hypertrophy the muscle, we're trying to get all the benefit we can, squeeze all that out of everything, while not getting any of the kind of harmful side effects that might come along with lifting heavy. So just working on some of those eccentrics for today, bringing the weights down nice and slow. Trying to rebuild everything, trying to rebuild my strength. So I'll mix in a day where I'm lifting a little faster, or maybe where I'm doing explosive stuff, and I'll mix in a day where I'm going a little heavier, going a little slower. When you're doing your back movements, think about your bench, or think about your deadlift, or think about your squat, and how you want to kind of pinch those shoulder blades together when you squat, and how you want to try to pull that chest up. Or in the case of the deadlift, how you want to bend the bar around your body, and you want to turn a regular deadlift bar into like a trap bar. And that's gonna make you turn your lats on, because you're gonna have to do this movement here. Can I get a hey now? Like you're doing like a pullover, right? You pull down and in. And that's how we're kind of getting to that lat. And when we're gonna bench press, we're not gonna necessarily pull down and in on the push, but on the way down, we wanna actually do that. And I'll show you a tip-top secret, a pro tip with the slingshot in a minute, on how to activate the back. But as you're doing these movements, these accessory movements, think about those big lifts that you want to get. These are primers. These movements are primers of the big lifts. This right here is the slingshot. And the pro tip, something you may not have seen me mention before. I have said it before, but this is an amazing cheat code on how to utilize the slingshot. The slingshot, as you may already know, is a supportive upper body device for bench press, push-ups, and dips. But you might not have known this secret. It can really lock you in to proper bench pressing form and technique. It's going to be pulling the elbows in slightly. As it's pulling the elbows in, you actually want to push against the slingshot with the elbows. But not only are you just pushing the elbows, you're using your back. That's how you're able to push your elbow back. And that is a key element to big time bench pressing, is to use your back. Try to give you like more of a hook. One reason why you have a shitty bench is because you have a shitty back. Here's how to get your back strong for bench pressing. Throw on a slingshot and utilize those muscles of the back. Pretend you have a barbell in your hands and continue to pull your chest up and continue to pull your elbows back. When you think that you've pulled back far enough and you think you used your lats enough, think again, because we got to get these shoulder blades, we got to get the shoulders to be down and away from the ears. We want the shoulder down here for big time bench pressing. So you're going to come here, you're going to pull with your back, and then you got to pull harder and harder and really get those elbows back behind your body. When you feel that and you do about a 5-second hold, I want you to pull into something that feels substantial. When you've done that, pull even harder, then hold it there for 5 seconds, and then you're done. When you feel that, that is how your back should feel when you're bench pressing. If you're bench pressing 185 or something like that, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But as you get stronger and as you progress and you start doing your body weight for bench press, you start doing 1.5, you start doing two times body weight, and so on. When you start getting into those ranges, that's when things start to get a little crazy, and you'll have to feel how tight you have to get your body to be able to press those big weights. From here, once we lock this in and once we get the back articulated correctly, then we can kind of flare the elbows and press hard. The slingshot is actually going to kind of teach you how to do that, because another secret of the bench press, which I haven't talked about that much, is to wrap your elbow around the bar. So you bring the weight down, and everyone's arm length is different, so things will be a little different on this for each person, but as you bring the weight down and as you're tucking the elbow in, as you press back up, you actually want to intentionally flare at some point. Not too early, not right away, but as you come up, you're pushing up and out, and you swing your elbow under the bar. Olympic lifters do it when they go overhead and you don't think the guy can make the lift or the girl can make the lift, and then suddenly it's locked out. We see something similar happen in a deadlift. Someone starts to shake on a deadlift and the bar doesn't really come up any higher, and then all of a sudden they're able to like lock it in. It's like the bar didn't seem like it moved that much. It's because their body moved. And it's the same situation here. We need to eke that barbell up, but all the judges need to see is that the elbows are locked. So the elbows are can be locked with you just decompressing and pressing yourself into the bench press, and you just kind of wrapping that elbow around the barbell. It'll look a little like this. It's really hard to illustrate or to communicate. You'll be like here. You get the bar. The bar is going to touch maybe low on the chest, maybe sternum, maybe even belly for some lifters, depending on the person. The elbows are in. As you press, you're going to press normal, and you're going to kind of start to, right before you're about to get stuck, flare the elbows out. The elbows are going to go from being on this side of the bar. The elbows are going to be like underneath the bar here to being over the bar. Boom. When you get used to this, you'll start to launch the weights up. So if I was lying here right now, my elbow, the barbell would be here, and my elbow should be about here. Barbell's here, my elbow's here. My elbow's on that side of the barbell. Again, it might be a little different for certain people. Like if you're a much shorter athlete, that's not going to happen. If you're an athlete that has if you're really thick and have a large belly, there's no need for you to do that. But for me, I had to learn to bench that way because I don't know. I don't necessarily have long. I don't want to say I have long arms, but I'm about 6 feet tall, and the weight classes I competed in, 242, 275, 308, and super heavy. Even though I was super heavy, I wasn't quite fat enough to make my bench stroke super short. But anyway, here we go. And I've had a bunch of questions more recently about nasal breathing. I am trying to carry nasal breathing over into as much stuff as I can. Habitually, I'm probably just going to breathe whatever way I breathe when I lift heavier weights, but we'll see if I can handle it on this set, and if I can, then I'll just kind of continue to do that. But you just want to see how things feel, and you want to see how safe they are. If you're trying to handle like a big squat or big deadlift, I don't think there's a lot of good reasons to only nasal breathe. If you're trying to do it for explosive movement in between something else, and you're trying to bump up your cardio, that would be a good reason to utilize nasal breathing. The slingshot is going to allow you to handle 5 to 10% more depending on the person. Results may vary, but it's going to allow you to do more reps, more sets, so you get more overall volume in your workouts, and recovering from the workouts will be easier. So the slingshot is helping you through this bottom portion of the bench press where your shoulders are the most compromised. And as your muscles shorten, so does the slingshot as you're coming through. And as you're getting closer to the top and you're getting into a more advantageous position, the slingshot is letting off. So there you go. There's the slingshot. You want to bench more weight, want to bench heavy without pain, get yourself a slingshot. I think something everyone in the fitness industry has had wrong for a long time is the way that we breathe. I think most of the time when we're training with weights, unless you're at the top sets, I think a lot of it should be done with nasal breathing. In the nose, out the nose. In the nose, out the nose. Get your body used to a little bit of that CO2 tolerance. The body has enough oxygen in it to supply you through the workout, but it takes time to get used to it. So to me, it's a healthier input into the body when you do a lot of training that's mainly nasal breathing. But I guess it's not like sexy. It wouldn't be as valued, right? Like if I was doing lateral raises, if I'm doing a lateral raise, right? And I think most of this stuff spawned from the bodybuilding magazines from years ago. The guys with the sunglasses and the cut-off pants and the big baggy shirts and the stringer tank tops and everything else that was going on in those pictures. And in those pictures, it would be like this. I'd be like the cover of the magazine, guy making some crazy face. So I think that when a lot of us went into the gym, we thought we had to make that crazy face. And making facial expressions when you need to and putting a little oomph behind something makes a lot of sense. But I personally think most of the sets, most of the time, maybe 80, 90% of the time, should probably be done a little bit more like this. And just because you're calm doesn't mean you can't get after it. Just because you're calm doesn't mean you can't have heavier weight. Doesn't mean we can't have some body English on it or something like that. So now I'm going to automatically probably make a little bit of a face, but I can still I just think it could be better. We could do better. Oh my God, my nads are showing a little bit right there. Sorry about that. Not those nads, you sick bastards. These nads right here. These cotton underpants. These things are great. You know, for a long time, you're probably worried about who was touching your nuts. Now you should worry about what's touching your nuts. And these guys are cotton where it counts, if you know what I mean, right through here. Breathable. They feel good. It's 9 million degrees here in Sacramento, and lifting right through it in these comfortable underpants.